Okay, so number 6 on the chapter review, it says a rectangle is 9 units long. Why don't you underline that? How many square units does the rectangle cover if it is 1, 2, 3, or 4 units wide? So when you hear square units, what are you automatically thinking?
It's like a perimeter area.
Area, yes. Okay, so it says over here, create a table. On the test, you will have to create a table. Now notice, I know that I'm going to need 1 column for the length, 1 column for the square units, and 1 column for the width, right? So I know that when I draw this table, I'm going to have 3 columns. So let's draw a box and make it as straight as you can. And let's give ourselves 3 columns. Make them as straight as you can. My top one is going to go for my label. Okay, so remember my labels, length, and make sure your L has a little tail so that, or do a cursive L, so we know that's not a 1. And then my next one will be square units. I don't want to write my square units right in the middle. I want to write it over here, okay? Because I know I'm going to go length times width. Okay, this will be area. Area equals length times width. And then, of course, I have 1 for width. Okay, so now I have my table drawn. I need to figure out how many rows I need. Well, I go to this section right here and count them. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So if I want to make these even, I divide it in half and then divide each of those halves in half again. And then it's pretty even. It's not going to be perfect. All right, now I'm going to fill these widths in. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And what was my length? All of them are going to be 9. So 9, 9, 9, 9. And now it's up to me to figure out this over here, right? So I'm going to write my expression off to the side. Do I need to write my expression off to the side?
No.
Yes, you do. Because if not, you're going to miss 1, 2, 3, 4 points. On the test, these table ones are worth like 10 points. Yeah. Okay, so let's do them right. Okay, so my length times width, I'm going to have 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 4 is? Okay, and now I've completed my table. Now on the test and on your homework, you have to have drawn the table. You have to have labels at the top so I know what each column represents. I need to see an expression off to the side and the answer in the final box. That's how you end up getting all 10 of your points. Okay. All right, let's move on to number 7. Karen buys 3 bouquets of flowers. How many flowers does she buy if each bouquet contains 10, 11, 12, or 13 flowers? So once again, I'm creating a table, so I'm going to draw a big box. And I'm going to make it as straight and even as I possibly can. And now I have to decide how many columns do I need. Well, I know that she has 3 bouquets, right? So I'm going to need 1 for bouquets. And how many flowers does she need to buy if each bouquet contains these different amounts of flowers? And then, of course, I'm going to need a 3rd one for the total, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so let's write that down. So my first one goes here, second one goes there, and then I have a 3rd one. So now I have 3 columns. Remember, I always start out with my first row at the top is going to be for my, what do I put in this very top one? The labels, yes. So right here, what are we going to label this one? Bouquets. And then the next one is flowers. And this one is total. Okay, how many rows am I going to need? Yes.
Well, I just did this.
That's okay. Yours might be slightly different, but this is how I'm going to show you today. Okay? All right, so notice I have 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 4 different numbers. So that means I'm going to need 4 different rows. Okay? And now I'm going to start filling in information. I know that she has 3 bouquets of flowers, and each flower she buys is all these different amounts. So flowers is 10, 10, 10, 10. Or no, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to go 10, 11, 12, 13. If it'll let me. Doesn't want to erase. Okay, so we're going to put our bouquets, that will stay the same. So all of these are going to be 3, right? Okay. So how am I going to get my total? What expression am I going to write?
3 times 10.
So 3 times 10 is
Y.
30. 3 times 11 is 33.
36.
3 times 12 is 36. 3 times 13 is?
39.
Okay, so now I've created my table. Once again, this is worth 10 points on my test. I have to have all my rows filled in. I have to have my label at the top for each column. I have to have my expression off to the side and my total column filled in. Common error alert. When people are creating tables, a lot of times they don't know what else to add. They're like, oh, I don't know. But see how we added this third column for the total? That's usually the one that gets forgotten, is the total column. So don't forget that when you're doing your test. Okay, so we're at number 21. Okay? So notice that my numbers are getting bigger from here to here. So if they're getting bigger, I'm automatically thinking adding or multiplying, right? So I'm going to try out adding. What would I have to add to 1 to get 4?
3.
It would be a plus 3.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 plus 3
No.
would be 5. So that's not going to work, right? Okay. What about timesing? What would I have to times by 1 to get 4?
4.
Okay, so I'd go 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Not 7, right? Okay. So what does this tell me when I go through those steps and neither of those work?
You gotta do something. You gotta make a rule. You gotta 2-step.
I have a 2-stepper, don't I? I have a 2-step one. So if I have a 2-step one, I'm going to do this. Does this sound familiar? Okay. So what did I have to do to get from here to here, from the 4 to the 7?
Add 3.
Was that a reverse voice? No, it's on it. Okay. All right, and then from 7 to 10 is also plus 3, and 10 to 13 is also plus 3. Does there anybody remember the next step after I figured that out? What do I do to that 3? This is your hint.
You shoot it.
You shoot it up to the top, right? So it's going to come all the way up here, and now it's going to times itself by whatever number they already gave me in the chart. Okay? So let's do that with all of them. 3 times, 3 times, 3 times, 3 times. We filled all those in. That's our first step. Now we just have to figure out what is the second step. Okay? So notice they have 3 times 1 is what?
3.
3. So 3 plus what number equals this 4? And I heard somebody say 1, so let's fill that in. So I have 3 times 1 plus 1, right? 3 times 1 plus 1 is my expression to how to solve this. On my next one, I have 3 times 2 equals 6. 6 plus what number equals 7?
1.
1. So I'm going to say 3 times 2 plus 1. That's the expression for that. Okay? Here I have 3 times 3 equals
30.
9. 9 plus what number equals 10? 1 more, right? So now my expression is 3 times 3 plus 1. Next one, 3 times 4 is 12 plus what number equals 13? 1 again. 3 times 4 plus 1. So now, what are the things that are repeating on this right now? What are my 2 things that I'm doing?
3 times x plus 1.
I'm doing times 3 on all of them, okay? And then I'm also adding 1 on each of them. Okay, so those are my 2 steps. So what am I going to do to n? 3n plus 1. Okay, and let's clean this up. Or I guess I said 3 times n, and now we're going to clean it up so it's 3n plus 1. Okay? Alright, so I want everybody to check their number 4. So flip back to number 4 and see if you did it correctly. Okay? On this one, notice their expression is 56 divided by 7. So the next one will be 49 divided by 7. I don't need you to put the equals because I just want an expression. So 49 divided by 7 is 7. 42 divided by 7 is 6. Now these were one-step problems, so did I need a funnel? No, I can just leave it like this. However, over here, I'm going to have to multiply and subtract, so am I going to need a funnel on this one?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to start out with my k, which is 2. So 2 times 4 minus 6, which I used this very same expression they gave me and filled in the k. So now the next one, I'm going to have 3 times 4 minus 6. And on the next one, I'm going to have 4 times 4 minus 6. Now I'm going to bring these expressions down, and I should see 3 funnels underneath your table. So 2 times 4 minus 6. According to order of operations, what will I do first?
2 times 4.
2 times 4 is 8 minus 6. And have a 2 here. Okay? Notice they already answered a 2 here, so I'm not going to do anything, but I proved it. Okay? My next one is 3 times 4 minus 6. So I'm going to multiply, then I'm going to subtract, and I ended up with 6. So I can write that in my box. My last one, 4 times 4 minus 6, I'll do my multiplying, my subtracting, box my answer, do my funnel, and put my answer here. I have to do all of this in order to get credit for it. The same thing will go on your test. If it's a one-step problem, I just need to see the expression and the answer. If it's a two-step problem, I need to see the expression, the funnel, and the answer. That's how you get all your points. Okay? All right, I'm going to skip ahead to number 18 next. Okay, so on these ones, 13 through 20, notice how it says write 2 phrases. If ever you see the word phrases, that means they want you to write words. Okay? In your note packet, there was a really handy chart that had all the words in it, right? Notice on number 18, it has a plus sign. So I can look down all those choices for adding. Is there way more than 2 that I could do? Yes, there's a lot, like maybe 6 or something. So on this one, I'm going to choose 5,100 plus 64. That's one I could do with words. I could say, what's another one on that chart that doesn't get used a lot? The sum of 5,100 and 64. Okay? Or I could, what's that one that says more than? Right, it's 64 more than 5,100. That's another one I could do. It doesn't get used a lot. Let's see. Oh yeah, we don't get added to used very often. I could say 64 added to 5,100. So I just gave like 4 different ones that you could use. All of them would be correct. Okay? All right, let's look at number, I know nobody wrote down 19 and 20, but let's do that one. Okay? So I could say the difference of y and 3. Here's one where people sometimes get it wrong. Let's see. They say the less than one. Okay, how would I write the numbers if I'm going to say it as less than? Because I have to be careful with the order because it's subtraction. Yeah.
You would write 64 less than.
Oh wait, no, I'm y minus 3.
Oh. 3 less than y.
3 less than y. Notice my order is different when I write it because I have to say that the 3 is less than the y because it is, right? I'm saying y minus 3, so that means that the 3 is less than the y. So I have to look back over and be like, does that make sense? What's the other one that you have to reverse the order on that wording that sometimes gets people? Yeah, so if I did the subtracted from, okay, I would say 3 subtracted from y. Okay, remember with subtraction and division, the order matters. The order matters. Okay, so let's say I was going to do this one, g minus 20. I could say g minus 20, but if I wanted to use the subtracted from, which one would come first, the g or the 20? 20 is being subtracted from g. Okay, what if I wanted to do the less than one? Which one is less, the g or the 20? The 20. So 20 is less than g. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and go to number 21. I think it's a tape. Okay, number 21. I noticed from this number to this number, they're getting bigger. So my two choices are adding and multiplying. Okay, if the numbers are getting bigger, then I know I'm going to be doing adding or multiplying. So I'm going to try it out. Adding. 1 plus what number would equal 4?
3.
So 1 plus 3 equals 4. Is it 2 plus 3 equals 7?
No.
No. So is the adding working?
No.
No. Let's try multiplying. 1 times what number would equal 4?
4.
4. So I have 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 4 is 7? No. Okay, so I just tried multiplying and addition, and neither one of them worked. So what does this tell me about this problem? No. If both of those don't work, it tells me it's I'm going to have a two-step problem, right? So in that case, does this seem familiar that we did in notes?
Yes.
Okay, I have to find out what happened from here to here. 4 plus what equals 7?
3.
Plus 3. Okay, is 7 plus 3 10?
Yes.
Is 10 plus 3 13?
Yes.
Okay, so that tells me this 3 is going to get shot to the top and times by whatever number they give me. So shoot it to the top and times it on all of them. Okay, so now I times all the numbers and the letter that they gave me by 3. Okay, so when you have to do these on a test, make sure this number gets shot to the top and you multiply. Okay, so now I'm ready to, I found my first step. All of these are going to get multiplied by 3. All of them are getting multiplied by 3. Now, I said this was a two-step problem. Now I have to figure out what is step number 2. So 3 times 1 is 3. So I say to myself, 3 plus what number will get me to 4? 1. So we're saying that the next step is adding 1. So I have 3 times 1 plus 1 as my expression. Okay? Then my next one, I have 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus what number equals 7? 1. So what is my second step that I'm doing on all of them? Plus 1. So I have 3 times 2 plus 1. And I'm going to put a little line down like this because I hope that that's not confusing. Okay. All right, now I have my next one. 3 times 3 equals 9 plus 1 gets me to 10? Yes, it does. So 3 times 3 plus 1. Then on this one, I have 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus what equals 13? Look, I'm adding 1 again. So I know that my rule is correct. So I have 3 times 4 plus 1. Now I'm ready to apply all that to n. So I know that I'm going 3 times n. What was the second thing I did to the number? Plus 1. So I have 3 times n plus 1. Let's clean it up. What would 3 times n plus 1 be cleaned up as? 3n plus 1. Okay? Don't forget you have to write all of this to show me how you got this answer. Okay? I'm looking for all that on the tables. Okay, so by the way, common error alert, guess what I see for a lot of these? It says determine whether the given value of the variable is a solution or not a solution. Some people don't read that and they just automatically do this. Why would I not do that on this one? Yes?
Because you have to rewrite the question with n equals 11.
Yeah, they already gave me n equals 11. So do I need to figure out what n is?
No.
No, they already told me. So all I have to do is go 20. Why did I write a 3? Okay. All I have to do is rewrite my problem, and I have to fill in this value. So they said n was 11, so I'm going to go 28 plus 11 equals 39. And I have to decide out if I have to figure out if this is true or not true. So why do I keep writing a darn 3? Okay. 28 plus 11, I'm going to just add those together. And I got 39 and they had 39, so is this a solution?
Yep.
Yes. I could say yes, or I could say true. Either one of them would be correct. All right? So be careful on the chapter review, on the test. If they already told you what the variable is, then just see if it works. Don't draw the line because you don't need to solve for y or n because you already know what it is. All right, let's go. Okay, this is our chapter 2 review. I had some questions about 1, 2, and 3, so let's just kind of read and see which one would go with these. These are directly out of your notes. If you weren't sure, you could look up these words in the back of your book. Okay? So, a blank contains one or more variables. Which one of these word choices would go with one or more variables? What do you think? Algebraic expression. Would you agree or disagree?
Agree.
Agree. So I'm going to write algebraic expression. And this was directly from my notes. It told me that. Okay? Number 2, a blank is a mathematical statement that says two quantities are equal. Which one shows that the two quantities are equal?
That would be
I believe it was on the same note page as this one.
equation.
Equation. So let's write down equation. In the equation, 12 plus t equals 22. T is what would we call t?
Variable.
A variable. These these were directly from your note page. In fact, I think they came all from the exact same note page. Yep. Okay, I'm going to move us on to those tables below. Okay, so I'm going to show you some things on these tables to make sure you have it so that you don't miss any point on your chapter review or on your test. They want you to write an expression next to each of the tables. If it is more than a one-step expression, then I want to see a funnel. How did you solve it? If it's only one step, I just need the expression. Like, for instance, on this one, I have y divided by 7. So 56 divided by 7. I don't need you to write equals 8. I just want the expression, and you can write 8 in the box. On this one, I'm going to have 49 divided by 7 equals 7. I write it in the box. On the next one, I have 42 divided by 7 equals 6 in the box. This was a one-stepper, so I don't need to see any funnels below. However, when I come over here, they're wanting me to multiply and subtract, so that's going to take 2 steps. I'm going to have to see funnels down below. So let's write our expressions first. I have k times 4 minus 6. K on this one is 2, so 2 times 4 minus 6. On this one, it's 3. 3 times 4 minus 6. On the next one, it's 4. 4 times 4 minus 6. Now I have these expressions written down, and they're 2 steps, so I'm going to bring them down here and solve them with a funnel. So I'm going to rewrite it. And according to order of operations, what will I do first? 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 6 is 2. Box my 2, funnel it. I didn't have to write it here because they already did. I'm just proving it. Next one, 3 times 4 minus 6. So I times those, I subtract, I box my answer, I do my funnel, and I write my answer in the box. Next one, 4 times 4 minus 6. I times first, bring everything down, I subtract, box my answer, and I have my 10 in my box. I have to do that in order to get all the points on my chapter review and on my test. Now over here, this one will be worth 4 points because I had to do 2 expressions and 2 answers. Over here, this will be worth 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points because I had to do each of these items. Okay, that's what will be required when I do my test as well. Okay, if it's a 2-stepper, I need to see funnels. Okay, Ron buys 5 bags of marbles. How many marbles does he buy if each bag contains 15, 16, 17, or 18 marbles? So they want me to create a table, so I'm going to draw my big box as straight and even as I can. And now I have to figure out how many columns are needed. I know I'll need 1 for bags, 1 for marbles, and what would be my third one? Third one equals a total column. Okay, so let's draw our 3 columns. After I get my 3 columns done, I automatically put on my first one, which is reserved for the labeled columns. Okay, so the first one is going to be bags. And my second one will be marbles, I said. And what did I say my third one would be? Total. Okay, now I need to figure out how many rows I'm going to need. Well, I go back to these marbles and I had 1, 2, 3, 4. So remember, an easy way to do that is to divide it into 2 and then take those 2 and divide them in half again. That way I don't have one row that's super skinny and one that's super fat. Okay? All right, so now I'm going to fill in information that they gave me. All the bags will be 5, right? So I have 5, 5, 5, 5. The marbles go 15, 16, 17, 18. So I'm going to fill that in. And now I'm ready to start writing my expression in order to solve it. Okay? So what is going to be my expression over here to solve how many total marbles? Go ahead, Nathan. 5 times 15. Do you guys agree or disagree? Agree. So 5 times 15. What will be my next one? 5 times 16. 5 times 17. 5 times 18. So now I'm going to do the math for these. What's 5 times 15? 75. 5 times 16. 5 times 17.
85, 90,
5 times 18.
90.
Now, I want you to notice how many points this table will be worth. 1 point for drawing the table and filling in the information. 1 point for the label at the top. A point for each expression. So we're up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 1 for each answer. 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 points on that table.
Yes.
Okay? Okay, I'm going to skip down here to number 12. Remember, when they want me to write each phrase, the phrases in words, they want me to take it from words and put it into an expression. If it's a numerical expression, it'll just have numbers and signs. If it's algebraic, it's also going to have a variable. Okay? So let's go down to number 12. The quotient of G and 9. Quotient means what? Divide. So I'm going to think division. And I keep it in the order that they said it. So see how G came first? Then G will come first here. And 9 was second, so 9 is second on that one. Now, do I have to solve it? No. I'm just writing the expression. In fact, I can't solve it. I don't have enough information. Okay? All right, so on all of these, I just need to see an expression. An expression does not have an equal sign. Okay? Okay, on this one, it says to write 2 phrases. Anytime you see the word phrases, I want you to think words. Okay? So let's come down. I'm going to do number 20. Okay, it's a subtraction one. Since it's subtraction, the order matters. I have to have it in the right order or I could get it wrong. So let's say I want to use the words less than. Okay? Which one of these would come first, G or 20, if I was saying blank is less than blank? Which one is less than?
G.
I would say that 20 is going to be smaller than G, right? So I have to say that 20 is less than G. Because if I can subtract it out of there, then I know that it's going to be less than. Okay? Let's see. Here's another one that gets people. Subtracted from. Which one of these will come first if I say subtracted from? 20 will come first again because notice 20 is being subtracted from the G. And so my words have to reflect that. So be very careful when you're doing division and subtraction because the order matters. They have to be in the right order or it's wrong. Okay? Now remember, there's lots of answer choices that could work. You only have to give me 2 of them. In your notes or in your book is a very handy table that has lots of words to help you. Okay? All right, let's move on to number 22. Okay, now I want you to notice that on 22, it gets smaller. What 2 operations make numbers smaller? Subtraction or division, right? So I'm going to try out my subtraction first. 1 minus what would get me to 0?
1.
1 minus 1. So let's try it on the next one. 2 minus 1. Does it get me 1?
Yeah.
3 minus 1. Does it get me 2?
Yes.
4 minus 1. Does it get me 3?
Yes.
So this would be n minus 1. There's no way to clean this one up, so it's going to be n minus 1.
I was literally literally adding the whole time.
I told you were going to be like, serious?
What?
Why did I know that? Okay.
No.
All right, let's look at 21. Let's look at 21. I want you to notice that it's getting bigger from one number to the next. So if it's getting bigger, what are my choices?
Addition or multiplication.
Addition or multiplication, right? So I'm going to try out my addition first. 1 plus what number would be 4?
3.
So let's try 1 plus 3. Okay, that gives me 4. So I tried out on the next one. 2 plus 3, does that equal 7?
No.
Okay, so is adding going to work? No. Okay, let's try multiplication. 1 times what number is 4?
4.
So 1 times 4. Let's try it on the next one. 2 times 4, does that equal 7?
No.
No. So neither one of those work. So what does that tell you about this type of problem? Yes, what does that tell me?
You have to go
Because it's a
multi-step.
multi-step problem. Okay? So yes, I'm going to have to do this. Does this look familiar from when we practice?
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, so you're going to have to do these on your test. So make sure you're paying attention so you know exactly what steps to use on the test. So I go from 4 to 7. How many to get from 4 to 7?
3.
Plus 3. Is it 3 to get from 7 to 10?
Yes.
Is it 3 to get from 10 to 13? Okay, so here's what I want you listening to. What am I going to do to that 3?
Shoot it up.
Shoot it up. Okay, it's going to shoot up to the top. And it's going to multiply by whatever number they give me. Okay, I'm going to go 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4, 3 times n. I'm going to do that on every single one of them. So that's my first step. Remember how we said this is a multi-step? That's my first one. Okay, so now I'm ready for my next step. 3 times 1 equals what?
3.
So that equals 3. So I have to say to myself, 3 plus what number will get me to 4?
1.
1. So plus 1 will be my second step. So I'm going to write this down. 3 times 1 plus 1. That's my first expression. And these are kind of close together, so I'm going to put that line in between them so you can see my expressions easier. Okay, my next one. 3 times 2 equals what? 6. So 6 plus what number equals 7?
1.
1. Okay, so am I doing well so far? Yeah, okay, so my next one should be 3 times 2 plus 1. Okay, then my next one, I have 3 times 3 equals 9 plus what number equals 10?
1.
1. So see how good I'm doing? My plus 1 held, so I have 3 times 3 plus 1. That's my next expression. Now I have 3 times 4 equals 12. 12 plus 1 equals 13, right? So 3 times 4 plus 1. Now I'm ready to apply that information to my n. Okay, what should it be? 3 times n plus 1. Now I want to clean this up. How can I clean up 3 times n plus 1? 3n plus 1. Perfect. Okay. We're going to go on to number 23. Okay, I'm going to be doing number 24. Sometimes I see this common error. People see a variable and they instantly do this. That is not what I want to do on this problem. Why would I not want to do this on this problem? Liberty.
Because there's 2.
Alice. I'm not solving for t. They already gave me t. I see this on the test all the time. People are trying to solve for t and they're not getting the answer and they're getting frustrated. And guess what? You don't need to solve for it. They already gave it to you. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to fill it in. you're going to say 12 times 6. And times it out. Does that equal 74? Let's try it. Does that equal it? No. I have a 72. They had a 74. So it says, is it a solution or not a solution? Not a solution.
Can we just write false?
How about not?
You could also say no, or you could say false.
I don't like
Or
writing.
you could say no.
Any of those I would accept, but I have to see this as your work. I have to see your work, and I have to see yes or no, not a solution, or false. Okay? So be very careful. Common error alert on your test and on your chapter reviews. Just because you see a variable doesn't mean you're going to draw the line and solve for it. That may not be what they're asking you to do. Okay?